Canada's Prime Minister promises new action to identify terror threats after Wednesday's deadly attack in Ottawa. The gunman recently converted to Islam, but it is unclear if he had ties to terrorist groups. The threat of extremists acting alone is a growing concern in our country. Margaret Brennan is in Washington. Look at one idea to isolate radicals before they act. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning to you. Well, the administration's trying to stop homegrown radicals and is looking outside of government for inspiration. A model is a small center in Maryland known as the International Cultural Center. It's the first community-led program to fight violent extremism.
More often than not, it's a U.S. citizen that's engaged in the activity.
Patrolling the streets of Montgomery County, Maryland, Police Chief Tom Manger says it's what he can't see that worries him the most. A lone wolf terrorist inspired online.
It's a lot harder today to identify folks that are that may be being radicalized, because you can do it in the privacy of your own home, right in your room, and nobody's around.
Now Manger's police department is getting help.
Violent extremism is a low-volume, high-impact threat.
Hadia Mehmadi says a community-led program is needed to fight radicalization because many Muslims fear being profiled and don't trust law enforcement. She trains parents, principals, and pastors to intervene.
It's about using your influence as trusted adults to help somebody before they choose a path of violence.
Her goal is to keep the vulnerable from being recruited.
What raises a red flag for you?
Not participating in sports or social activities, extreme isolation or exclusion from mainstream society, coupled with a very militant or combative interpretation of religious ideology.
Mehmadi says risk factors often include political grievances, mental illness, and a recent conversion to Islam. Mehmadi shows community leaders how to spot online propaganda, like jihadi testimonials of Western fighters.
I lived in America. I know how it is.
This Florida-born suicide bomber claimed fighting with al-Qaeda was better than life in America.
All you do is work 40, 50, 60 hours a week.
Some groups promise wives money and the glory of war.
We get married, we have families, we have lives.
But Mehmadi says the hardest to counter are the slickly produced ISIS videos, often disguised as humanitarian appeals.
That's a powerful motivator because it appeals to this sense of justice and a sense of helping the downtrodden or the oppressed. That makes it a lot harder than trying to convince somebody that, the disgusting act of terrorism is bad.
Mehmadi's idea has inspired a similar project launched by the Justice Department, which is reaching out to community leaders, because whether it's girls trying to marry jihadis abroad or someone inspired in front of a computer screen, there's a challenge to understand what motivates people who live so far away from the fight, Nora.
Indeed. Margaret, thank you so much.